Okay, we're back. We're live. This is Think Tech Talks. I'm Jay Fidell, and now, you know, the hallmark, the central program for our whole week, Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is organized by Hawaii Energy Policy Forum and Hawaii Energy and DBED. And so here we are talking about energy on Wednesday, which is what we should be talking about. In fact, I think everybody should be talking, you know, like set aside Wednesday for a discussion of energy. Make your Wednesdays into Energy Wednesdays. Okay, and today we have David Chang. He's with EcoCabs. He's been with us before. He's a visionary lawyer hyphen businessman person. he's crossed the Rubicon. You know? And Crysttal Steiner of Campus Services. And guess what their common point is? Well, it's actually it's cars. It's car sharing. We're going to talk about car sharing today, which is very, actually, you know, we this is our news item for Think Tech, so I know a lot about this. I know all about what is it, Cars to Go is doing, and why and what and how it, you know, this is really important. But you guys can give me the on-the-ground details. It's going to be a great discussion. Okay, and to start, as we often do, always do, Hawaii Energy is here through Carolyn Carl, who is sitting somewhere beyond our studio lights out there. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
Good. So tell me what you guys want to, you know, advise us today about saving energy. The thing about saving energy is it's easier than making energy. So if we save energy, we are way ahead of the game, and we must do that. It's part of the program, right?
Absolutely. That's what Hawaii Energy is here to help you do. So we actually have an increase in our refrigerator freezer bounty rebate here on Oahu. So we're doubling the rebate from $25 to $50. And this is a great opportunity to get rid of that old working refrigerator, that second fridge, that beast that uses all that energy, and we will provide free curbside pickup and make sure it's properly recycled, and then give you a rebate for doing so.
Outstanding, outstanding. You want to give us the details on how we can apply and get the money, the moolah?
Absolutely. So all you have to do...
You want paper to write this down?
No, I just got rid of my refrigerator like 2 weeks ago.
Is it retroactive?
I think...
And I just had Island Movers pick it up and remove
So that was through...
it.
That was through our program. So we work with them.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely. So
The check's in the mail.
all you have to do is give us a call, 537-5577, or you can visit the website, hawaiienergy.com, for more information. And it's simple. You just schedule the pickup. They come, they give you the application, and you actually have the opportunity to donate your incentive or your rebate to the Hawaii Food Bank, which is a great way to help fight hunger as well.
Okay, is that the only program for the day, or do you have something else
No,
up
we
your
have
sleeve?
a lot of programs that you can visit the website, learn more about it, and also low and no cost tips. You can find out how to save energy. So give us a call, 537-5577, or visit the website.
Okay, Hawaii Energy, making us efficient. It's very important, and you guys have to hammer on the public so that everybody knows, A, how important it is, and B, how you can do it. Okay, we're counting on you for that, Carolyn.
And that's what we're here for.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks, Jay.
We're going to go now to our main discussion about car sharing. So there it was in the paper, sure as life itself, an article about, what is it, Daimler AG. AG stands for corporation, right, German? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, and they're going to put, or at least they went to a legislative briefing recently. It wasn't an energy briefing per se. Sharon Moriwaki, who is here also behind the lights. And Sharon is the co-chair of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, and she lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes energy all day long. She is, they say, the most energetic person that we know. Say hi, Sharon.
Hi, aloha.
So at a legislative briefing, Daimler AG rolled out what its plan was, which is to bring 150 small smart cars, right? You know about this, right? Mm-hmm. And deploy them in Oahu and make smart cars really work. There's 2 or 3 other smart car companies that are doing smart cars, but it's really a handful. The 150 cars is a big fleet. And their deal is they're going to charge X dollars a minute. I think it's 40 some odd cents a minute.
41 cents a minute.
41 cents. I was 1 cent off. Yeah.
Yep.
And that comes to $14.99 an hour. Am I right? Yeah. Do the math. Which is actually pretty cheap if you're only going, to one location, coming back. It's pretty good. And then you don't have to buy a car. You can actually not buy a car. You can, make this and if we all do this, then they'll have, 300 and then 500, then 1,000 of them. Then we'll all save tons of money. And P.S., we won't be driving when we don't need to drive. We will save energy, lots of energy. We will be very efficient, and we will save money too, because cars are expensive. That's not to say that everybody in the community agrees with this, but it's a great plan, and they're supposed to roll it. They need legislative, approval for this.
They don't need legislative approval, but there is currently a tax on car share vehicles because we treat them
$3.
right. We treat them
$3
just
every
like
rental.
a rental vehicle.
Yeah.
So, if you rent a vehicle for a day, $3 out of your whole bill. I actually think for straight rental cars it's $7.50, but say it's $3. It's a small increment of your overall bill. If you're renting by the hour, or good heavens, by the minute, like the Car2Go program works, that it adds up really fast.
Yeah, well,
so if you rent it for an hour for $10 and $3 added for tax, that's a 30% tax.
Right, and the
wasn't the
$3
intent.
is relentless. It's like every
each
hour,
time.
every time another transaction, another $3. Well, it's going to put Car2Go out of business because nobody's going to pay that much. It's too much. Instead of $14.99, it's $17.99. Yeah.
Right.
And if it's less than an hour, my goodness, it could be more for the $3 than for the rental.
Yeah. And the tax really didn't anticipate having car share vehicles.
No.
And that's really
So we
the
got to straighten
problem.
this out.
We just need to tweak the language.
So
a
what's the
bit.
solution?
There is a bill that's being introduced. The bill will probably be modified a few times, but basically it defines what a car share company is and how car share works, and proposes a different tax. I don't think the amount has been decided yet, but it proposes something that would be much more reasonable for car share.
So it'd be an alternate of the car rental tax that applies only to car share.
Yes.
And it will be something that everybody can live with, and
Yes.
it will displace the $3. That
Yes.
will not apply to car share.
Yes.
That's the
Krista, could you
solution.
tell us what car sharing is? I think that would be helpful for
Yeah, I
people
was
to know.
just thinking we should start back at the beginning. Car sharing is a way of, is a membership-based program, almost always, where
You gotta
people-
belong.
You have to belong. And once you're a member, that allows you to use different cars in the pool, in the fleet. Generally, they're parked in different locations, strategic locations. So I can tell you about our car share program on campus, which happens to be Enterprise Car Share.
You have a car share?
We do. We've had a car share program for over a year.
That's very advanced of you.
Thank you. So Enterprise Car Share has 4 vehicles on campus. We started with 2, and as membership grew, then they add more cars because they're quite interested in making sure that a car is available when people need it. So there are 4 cars parked on campus.
4.
4.
4, that's it.
That's
the,
it.
That's the enterprise system, 4.
And as we grow members, we will have more.
So what's the ratio of members to cars?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Enterprise.
Okay, but there's a ratio. I mean, in
There is
other
a
words,
ratio.
So if I have, say 500 members, then I have 4 cars.
Yes.
But if I have 1,000 members, then I'm incentivized to get 8
Yes.
cars and
Yes.
so forth.
So I don't know what that increment is, but I can tell you we have 168 members.
Okay.
So, it's somewhere. in
Cars busy all the time?
there. Cars are busy a lot. I can look up some figures for you if you really want to know how often they go out, but yes, our cars are out a lot.
Did you install the system? Did you make this happen?
No, it actually happened before I got there
Okay,
because I've
okay.
been there about,
But you're responsible for it now.
I am.
Is there any time when somebody can't get a car, or these 4 cars accommodate all the 150 people?
I don't know the answer to that. I have never received an
But no
email
complaints
from a
about-
member saying, oh, this is terrible, I wanted to rent and I couldn't. And in part, that's why we have 4 cars. So maybe your favorite location, we have cars that are a car that's parked down next to student housing. Obviously, most of our members are students. So the student housing car
perfect.
is out a lot.
Yeah.
When that one is rented, there's a car that's right across the street. That's the second most frequent rental
So it's in a parking
vehicle.
space, in a university parking space.
Yes.
And good news is the university has the power to designate a parking
That's
space.
right.
That helps.
That's right.
You know, it says rent a car. I mean, enterprise car share. Right
Only
here.
a car share vehicle can park in those cars.
Yeah.
So if that one's rented, then they can walk up on campus, and there are 2 other cars in upper campus that they can rent.
Okay, so what kind of, it seems to me that the university is a great location for car share.
Yeah.
Because kids don't really they shouldn't own cars. It's too much, they should study, not fool around with cars,
People don't realize how expensive cars are. They think
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
cost of gas, and they'll drive way out of their way to save a couple cents on gas. Gas is such a small portion of car
Oh, sure.
ownership cost.
It's maintenance, insurance, all that.
Oh yeah,
So this is really a machaya. This is a Yiddish term meaning a good thing.
it is a good
It's
thing.
a machaya for kids at the university, and it should take hold, but it hasn't taken hold yet, right? 4 cars is still relatively modest, isn't it?
We, until Daimler comes in with their 100, they have a little different model than
What's the
Enterprise.
difference? Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me get the first part out. We have the UH Enterprise car share program is the largest on
Right
the
now.
island right now.
Yep.
Daimler's model is different, and it's not just here, they've done it in Europe and across the nation. Because they own Smart Car, they bring a whole group of cars and they place them all over. And rather than, so like if you're an Enterprise Car Share member, you go online, you reserve your car. I can reserve my car a month from now. I know I need to go someplace,
Sure.
I can
Easy
reserve
enough
it
online, sure.
right? Daimler really relies on your smartphone. So you can reserve a car up to a half hour before you need it. But their concept is, no, we have cars everywhere. You don't really need to plan that far ahead. When you know you need a car, you go to your phone, you look at the GPS and you go, should be a car within 4 blocks. Where's the closest car? Oh, there it is. You go, you use your membership card,
Brilliant.
yeah, it is. It is brilliant. The other nice thing about it is because they have so many cars, you just park it. Wherever you get to your destination, you park it.
What do you mean, on the street?
On the street. So part of the key piece in their program is coming to agreement with the city and county, for example, that
Have they done that yet?
you'd have to ask them. I'm
No,
not sure.
the
I don't
article
think
said
so.
that they intended to include parking within that 41
Yes.
cents.
In
And then,
Portland, they already had
Right.
that system
Right.
in place.
So what they did was make an agreement with the city of Portland that says, we're going to reimburse you for all the times that our cars will be parked in parking spaces.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
they have a permit that
and you can
allows
get a
them to do
ticket.
that.
You can leave it there, and you don't
Exactly.
pay the meter. You're able to do.
Exactly.
It's sort of like an electric car thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Incentivization is good.
Yep.
Okay, so their model. You say their model is different than your
Right.
existing model with Enterprise. What?
Right. The enterprise model is that the cars have a home. So they have a parking spot that you pick it up from, you bring it back to that parking spot.
They don't use the GPS thing.
They do use a GPS, but it's different. You go online, you know where the car's located, and because it's on campus, it's very conveniently located for students. In Portland, we also had
Portland.
FlexCar.
Wait,
Which was
hold
bought
the
by
thought because I
Zipcar.
wanted to get to Portland right after this break.
Okay.
I want to spend a little time on Portland because you know
Okay.
Portland too, David, right? Okay, so that's David Chang and Crysttal Steiner. David runs Eco Cabs here in Honolulu, and Crysttal Steiner runs campus services at UH Manoa.
No. I work for campus services. I do not run it, my dear.
Oh my God, what did I do?
You give me a great promotion.
Whoa! She has some kind of job there.
until I'm done with this show.
It's been nice knowing you. This is Think Tech Talks. We're talking about energy because it's Wednesday. Hawaii, the state of clean energy, with Sharon Moriwaki and me. Is it time for car sharing? We'll be right back after this break.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for Think Tech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Okay, we're back. We're live with Think Tech Talks here on Wednesday, talking about, guess what, energy. And here, the Hawaii, the state of clean energy. Is it time for car sharing with David Jung, who is the owner, developer, founder, and principal bottle washer of Eco Cabs.
I'll take that.
He has a great logo. I'd like to have a logo like that. We want to have a Think Tech logo like that. And Crysttal Steiner, who has some kind of, job. We don't know exactly what. Let's just say she works for UH, right? Is that safe?
Manager, TDM manager.
Oh, sorry, TDM, Transportation
Demand
Manager.
So, managing the demand.
Okay. All right, so Portland has crept into our conversation.
I know, I can't help
What
it.
is
I
it
used to
about
be there.
Portland? No, you don't have to be there. It's too cold.
I know, it is too cold. That's why I moved here.
Okay. What have they done in Portland? What can we learn from Portland? Okay.
Portland was one of the first cities to ever have car share, and it was a kind of a local group that put it together. It was called FlexCar. It was purchased later by Zipcar. So when I worked at the city of Portland, we helped FlexCar figure out how were they going to deal with the parking spaces and all of that. So at first, the city of Portland simply gave the spaces to FlexCar as an incentive and said, FlexCars can park in these designated spaces, and it helped get them rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But once car share became so popular in Portland, they really needed to change that a little bit. And my understanding now is that the car share operators have a permit system with the city of Portland.
There's more than one kind of car share.
There is more than one
You
kind
can
of car
have
share.
more than one. You can have a number of them.
Absolutely.
It's okay.
It's okay, and we actually used to have 2 car share programs here, but unfortunately Green Car Hawaii just, either they went out of business or they're reorganizing, I'm not sure. His niche
think
was a
it's the
little
same thing.
different. Well, maybe not. I'm hoping
We'll see.
that they'll come back.
We'll see.
Their niche was a little different as well. They were really trying to get at the tourist and try and circumvent tourists renting a car.
You think there's a market for tourism?
I do. If we could convince tourists not to get the rental car at the airport, drive it to Waikiki and park it and spend a lot of money while it sits there,
That's great for everybody. And it means that they'll enjoy Hawaii more.
and save money.
Yeah.
Because then the whole concept of car share is use a car when you need it, don't pay for a car when you
Yeah.
don't.
Well, you sound like you think this is the future.
I do think it's a future.
Yeah. And how big is it in Portland?
It's big. It's big. It's even bigger
People
in
aren't
California.
buying cars.
It's true. They've done studies, particularly in California, where it's even bigger than Portland. But yes, they've found that people either choose not to buy a second car because they'll use car share as a shared car, or they're getting rid of their car because they've figured out that they can use mass transit, say, or ride a bike, and when they need to go on a shopping trip where they need a vehicle, then they can rent one easily through the program.
If you're a transportation demand manager, I assume you also have bike sharing up there.
Up at the university,
Yeah.
we are part of the group who is bringing bike share to Honolulu.
Okay, this is really important because if you're doing one, you really should do the other.
We're
I mean,
working
what
at
you
it.
learn in the one model, you can use in the other. It's really great.
They're a little
Now,
bit
if
different, but
if I owned Ego Cabs, I would be very concerned about all of this. I would see this as a direct competition and incursion into my market.
well, that's why we have a visionary who owns EcoCabs.
So why are you not concerned, David?
Well, in addition to being an eco cab owner, I'm also a member of this community, and I think that multimodality mode of transportation is really important, and car share and bike share being one of them. So it increases to, it improves the quality of life. So as a member of the community, as a business owner, it's one of those things. If you can't beat them, join them, kind of thing. There's such a huge movement towards eco-friendly and sustainability that you try to look at the positive side, and it doesn't take much stretch of an imagination to see the positive side. One thing that we've talked about, and I've had meetings with John from Enterprise and so on. The reason I don't see it as a threat is that the less car. One stat you should share with them is that what is it per one car share? It takes like 68 or no
15.
Huh? 15? 15 cars off the
to
road.
20 cars off the road. That's what the research shows.
Yeah, there's some people question that, but
Right. Well, let's say it's even 10 or
but we know this is a big
5.
ratio. We
Right.
know that.
Yeah.
And so the less dependent that people are on their own private cars, that there's a greater opportunity that they will ride the taxi as well. So you make the pie bigger, right? So I think that it's a matter of just getting a portion of that pie. Now, there are people that are not familiar with the taxi business might think, wow, that's a threat. It's still a threat. Well, look at the ridership. Most of the people that ride with us are the people that don't have license. Well, they can't ride the car share if you don't have a license.
Right.
Right, it's a different part of the market.
Right,
Right.
and it's ambulatory patients, for example, elders, the sicker who
Can't
shouldn't be
drive.
driving. And then even people that are young at UH, for example, if they're going to their friends to party at Sandy Beach and they're going to be drinking, they shouldn't be riding car
Yeah,
shares.
and Enterprise doesn't want them doing
Right,
that either.
exactly. And also inclement weather, right? If even in Portland, some place as sophisticated as Portland, you got to look at how far is it? If it's 2 blocks away and it's raining like cats and dogs, they're not going to walk. They're going to call the cab. If they're running late, or when
Because
they-
you still have to park it.
yeah, you still got to
Yeah.
park it, right? So and so there's just so many.
So you fit in the niches there.
And the more people that give up their cars, the more opportunity there is for us to sell our service. And we've had this discussion before, Jay. To me, it's not just a taxi. It is really improving what people's concept of taxi is by making it a really good experience. Like on the night out, I'm encouraged to take a taxi because it's at worst a neutral experience, and at best,
Save your life.
well, and then the drivers are fun, and it's a good way to start the day, the night, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to increase it, so that's why I don't feel as threatened, or I don't feel threatened. by
But
the
what's
car share.
interesting, and I like to get the apples and oranges on this, is that you're talking about eco cabs, eco vehicles, okay? And the smart car, I don't know exactly what Enterprise says, but the smart car is a small smart car, like a European smart car. That's a gas car, right? That's a fossil fuel car. So he has the edge on you. David has the edge on you, actually, Crystal. What do you think about that?
We have hybrids. We have 3 hybrids and a Chevy Volt are the 4 cars
Oh,
that
so
we
it's not
have.
all the same kind.
Yeah.
EV.
Actually, all 4 vehicles are different. There's
Why?
because that's what
It's a
Enterprise
rental
put
car
up there.
company, that's why.
And it's a great thing is the smart car, even though it's a purely combustible engine, it's a very small engine, and its carbon footprint is a heck of a lot smaller
Right.
than someone who would have a 4-passenger sedan, right? And that's what most people buy. Well, here, if I'm just going to the grocery store by myself, I don't need to own a 4-passenger sedan. So the total output of carbon, and that's at the end of the day, that's what's most important, is that we collectively work together to reduce that production of carbon on a daily basis and reduce it and reduce it and reduce it.
So what about, I really like this idea about the GPS and where's the car located and so forth. But you're using that kind of software too, aren't you?
We're using GPS for dispatch, but just as a, and I know this is primarily car share, but we just started a partnership with Uber Taxi. Are you familiar with Uber? Uber is an app like the Car2Go, where you look for a car on the smartphone. Well, here you look for a taxi on a smartphone, and then you order it through a smartphone.
Oh, cool.
And it's a mainland San Francisco-based company. Now, their primary market is what they call black cars, which is kind of a limousine sedan, ordering those. But they have a taxi component, and we are their first partner. And I think we have about 50 cars, members participating in the Uber Taxi, and we're, of course, 32 of those 50 cabs.
What, here?
Well, that's really cool because
Hawaii.
that keeps you from having to dispatch somebody from a long ways away. You're choosing the person that's closer. That's reducing miles.
Again, efficiency.
Yeah.
You know, so many things, and I'm not a, and the last time I was interviewed by Jay, I told him I'm sort of a heavy smoking, hard drinking, meat eating environmentalist.
The ideal man model.
And so it's a contradiction in terms, but I am very keen on you know, reducing my carbon footprint in everything I do. And whether it's a cab business or whether it's participating in this multi-mode of transportation. And I think that's the beauty of it. And the car share is a component. I think that bike share and so on, mass transit, but that's also under the umbrella of, what do they call it, transit-oriented development? And I think that's actually beautiful.
Let me throw one at you, guys. So, Crystal talks about the GPS thing where hopefully I can push a button and see there's a rental car 4 blocks away, and I can walk there. I mean, a car share car 4 blocks away.
Right.
It's easy for me to find that and get to that. Okay. Now, just hypothetically, under Uber or otherwise, I want a taxi. Now, in the past, I mean, in the current model, I would say, I call up a dispatcher. The dispatcher says, "I got one that's pretty close to you. I'm going to send them now." Okay. I have no idea where that taxi is, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work real perfectly. But suppose the same kind of thing that Crystal's talking about would work for you. I push a button, okay, and the dispatching software connects me, shows me where the nearest eco cab is, and it shows me it's, you know, like 3 blocks away, and it's coming my way. This is like a war movie with the radar, you know. And
That's how Uber works right now. But
Is
it's
that
a
right?
national company that and you can see when you order the cab, you can actually see it coming towards you, and it gives you an estimated time of arrival.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, and then when it
Must have
arrives, it goes bing. Your taxi
There it
has
is.
arrived. Your taxi has arrived, and then you walk back.
You have it operating now, or is it really? That's
That is so sexy.
There are obviously many of the larger companies in the mainland, the cab companies, are developing their own apps for their own company.
Sure.
And we don't have the resources. And not only that, but Uber has been a very excellent partner for ours. So.
It's okay. You don't want to have everybody doing their own thing.
Can I go on a little tangent?
Yeah, go.
We have a GPS tracking system for our shuttle system. And
Around the campus kind of
right.
thing.
Well, we go off campus as well into the nearby neighborhoods because we know 43% of our faculty, staff, and students live within 3 miles. So, but we have that kind of technology too, where on your smartphone, you look it up, it will tell you where the nearest shuttle is and give you an estimated arrival.
I love this.
It is very
How
cool.
come you didn't let us know about this before? I'm only kidding.
Yeah, Jay, I hope
ask.
your viewers tend to be like our age, because if they're like 20-something years old looking at us, they're
yeah.
going,
Why are these dinosaurs even talking about this?
they're captivated by something that's been around for like 5 years.
It's true.
Most people just get in their car, turn the ignition on, and
We
drive.
do.
See, there you go.
You
You
know
got to turn
what?
the ignition on now.
We
You just
do.
push the button.
I know
Yeah.
that. I found out the hard way. I know that. Yeah.
You want to know a really interesting statistic? When you look nationwide, young people are getting driver's licenses later and later and later.
They don't need them.
They don't, and they're really much more into sharing vehicles, doing car share, you know, doing a bike share,
Don't
those kinds
forget
of
bikes.
things. Yeah.
So my question then, which I never really got to fold the whole thing out for you, okay, is why doesn't somebody, and maybe Uber is for taxi cabs, and whatever else is for car share, but why don't we have some wraparound thing where I say I need transportation? Okay, it's just in one part of the screen it tells me where the cabs are. Another part of the screen it tells me where the car sharing cars are. Another part tells me where the bicycles are. I want to know everything, and then I can make a really intelligent choice instead of having to look 3 times, and sort of comparing notes. This would compare for me. It would say what my options are all on one page. What do you think?
I think that is the way of the future,
I do
and I
too.
think that's part of what transit, or at least my understanding of transit-oriented development, is that you try to develop the community in a way that becomes less dependent on private vehicles, right? And essential component of that is these choices, right, of all these things, and to put it on a smartphone and to say, okay, here's a bike, here's a car, share, here's where the bus is coming, this is where the I mean that is and then it makes it convenient. And I was talking to Asia Erie from EPA, and I was telling her, you know what, the beauty of this thing is, it's not like solar or wind or where you don't know in the future how much carbon reduction there's going to be, but it's all about the future. This is now. If the stat is right, for every one car share, if we, let's say conservatively, take away 5 cars,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this is now. You just reduced 5 cars
whatever
worth
it is,
of
yeah.
Yeah.
and it's immediate, and and as I had said before, it's simple planning. All the modes that we're talking about exist already. We have bikes, we have cars, it's a matter of just bringing it together and leveraging technology, like you just said, leveraging technology. We're on our smartphone. It makes it so convenient that it's almost like having your car without all the liability and the costs.
You can tell by the gesticulation and the energy in David's voice that he's really, really passionate about these things. Same with you, Crystal. So that's David Jung. He's the founder, owner, and operator of EcoCabs here in Honolulu, and Crysttal Steiner, who has a job of some indeterminate
We're getting there.
consequence at UH, but she knows a lot. And this is Think Tech Talks, talking about energy on Wednesday. Me and Sharon Moriwaki, Hawaii, the state of clean energy. Be right back after this short break.
We want to thank our underwriters. Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Maui Electric on Maui and Hawaii Electric Light Company on Hawaii Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho is a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company.
The High-Tech Development Corporation, the state's leading technology agency, attached to the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism.
Castle and Cook Hawaii, with a time-honored legacy that spans more than 160 years and revolves around its mission of investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state.
Hawaii Gas, formerly the Gas Company, a proponent of the Liquefied Natural Gas Initiative, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future.
Collateral Analytics, a Hawaii-based tech company empowering the real estate industry with greater and faster access to the tools and data they need to make better informed property investment decisions.
I'm Nicole Horry. Thanks so much for joining us on Think Tech.
I'm Maria Kashem. See you next time.
You may have wondered where we went, but we came back. This is Think Tech Talks, Hawaii, on Wednesday, the state of energy, with Sharon Moriwaki of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum and me, Jay Fidell, talking with David Jung of EcoCabs and Crysttal Steiner of the University of Hawaii, who has some connection.
I'm going to get you to say TDM coordinator yet.
The TDM coordinator.
Thank you.
And TDM, if you didn't know, I thought everybody did know, but
Of
it's
course.
the Transportation Demand Manager.
Good job.
Okay. at University of Hawaii, Manoa. So we always, this is revealing something you may not know. In the third section of our show, we always talk about the dark side, because we feel that we have to, as a matter of journalism, talk about the dark side. So what are the problems that, are between us and the result you guys would like to see happen? What are we going to run into here? What do we have to resolve?
I think Crystal's probably in the best position to answer that, just because she has experience from Portland, and Portland has already launched a program, right, with Car2Go.
Oh, a long time ago. Actually, Portland's program is more than 10 years old. So it's fairly mature. I can tell you, in launching a program on campus a little over a year ago, there is a lot of work in explaining people what car share is. You say car share, some people think it's carpooling, and they're not interested in carpooling. Or you say car share, and they're just really not sure what it is. So you have to do a lot of education. This is what it is. This is how it can benefit you. You kind of have to help them over the hump of, you know, how would I do it? How do you physically do it? Because they use technology really wisely. Your membership card goes over a transponder in the window. That's what unlocks the doors. And that actually is kind of scary for some folks. That, you know, is it really going to work? Am I going to be late because I couldn't get the car open? All of those things. And you know, you have to do a lot of education, and
Education costs money.
It does. It costs money and it costs time, which are often related.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, we were talking in the break how, you know, you wind up with a significant initiative like Car2Go, and it's going to cost $1 million to set up the program before car one arrives. And as with any enterprise in Hawaii, especially in Hawaii, so somebody has to be able to write a check like that. You can't roll it out slowly. You have to tell people how it works. You're dealing with the public. And the public, if it starts out as carta blanca, that's a euphemism. I could put it another way if you like.
But I think that, you know, Crysttal and I sat in a panel a couple of days ago,
Right.
and we had the good fortune of having a representative from Car2Go. And he was explaining that, yes, to launch the business, before a single vehicle is over here, he'd have to plan on investing $1 million. Now, I don't think he's familiar with Hawaii too well. So it probably 1.2, 1.3 million. And that's just to, like you said, educate the population, make sure that there's critical demand, critical mass to launch the business. I think it's various codes,
Yeah.
right? Work out the matters with the city, lobby the state, and
Right.
so on and so forth. So that's 1.2 million before you do anything.
Let me throw some more possible dark sides at you. Okay, this is a state, more than any other state that I know, where people are in a passionate romance with their cars. They love their cars. They spend as much as they possibly can, sometimes far too much, on their cars and trucks and SUVs. How are you going, it's the old story, how are you going to wean them away from the objects of their affection? This market may not work exactly the same way the Portland market works.
It might not. However, we have similar, Portland and Honolulu have some similar challenges. Portland has congestion. Honolulu has congestion like crazy. Portland
Actually,
has
less congestion with car share,
yes,
because you know you're only using it when you need to use
that's
it.
right. Portland also for years had a very tight restriction on parking downtown. They still don't have a lot of parking downtown like most urban areas. We don't have a lot of parking anywhere because we love our cars so much. So, you know, those kinds of challenges, people do have to stop and think about those things. And I don't expect most people in the beginning to give up their car if they own one. I think when you have a situation like UH, where parking can be difficult,
Now there's a euphemism.
yeah, so, never mind. So what it can do is let someone make a commitment to, say, riding the bus to work. And knowing that they can still use a car to run an errand when they need to go to the doctor, or you know, Johnny's sick at school and you got to go home and you got to take care of that. It really takes care, it lets you do that commitment to another mode, leave your car at home, let your spouse take it to work, you know, whatever you need to do. So I see it as really helping people with their mobility issues and save money at the same time.
They got to understand, and
Yeah.
and when they do, we'll get through that. you know.
Yeah.
I would disagree with, respectfully disagree with your premise that Hawaii.
You don't have to.
that there's this love affair. I think there is, but I think you're talking about a different geographical area within Hawaii, for example. I mean, I think people that live in the country, so to speak, they love their trucks, but Portland, I'm sure, Oregon has the same issue.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw Car2Go and their sort of boundaries, I guess they call it zone, it's pretty urban. And urban people, even in Hawaii, when you think about let's draw like Hawaii, University of Hawaii, right, to Kaimuki, come down Kapahulu, encompass Waikiki, and then go up to downtown area, and then you draw that circle. That's a very dense population. And I will beg to differ that those people that live in that area have a love affair with the cars. It is because every time they look at that car, it's easy to convince them how much it costing them in money just from parking alone, right? And all these other things, and the potholes and the wheel alignments and so on and so forth. I think it's be pretty easy to convince that, and those will be the main
that's the
targeted
target.
users, right?
Right.
To convince them. Yes, people in Waimanalo and Mililani and so on. No, I mean, it's not going to work. And Car2Go wouldn't go there anyways because there's not sufficient density.
Very respectfully, I will agree with you. What I will say is that this is a dynamic. This is changing all the time. And somebody here referred to the notion that the younger generation is different. And they're finding, a different way of looking at transportation. They're the guys going to look at those smartphones and pick an option. They're going to be standing there without being wedded to any particular
Right.
option.
It's because
and
it's
it will be
mobility. It's mobility
yeah.
that's important, not a particular mode.
Yeah.
Oh, my daughter's a millennial, and I tell you something about the millennials. They're incredibly practical. To a point where I remember when I got out of school, the first thing that people wanted to, okay, what kind of job am I going to get? I got to be driving a BMW or Volvo. I mean, you have these things that you have to have. My daughter's like, do you have a job yet? Because you're a senior. No, but I'm still thinking about it.
And I don't need you to tell me what to do, Dad.
Because, if I don't have a job, I'll just move in with you, Dad. To us, that's not an option. You get graduate from college, you're not moving back to. But to them, having 2-3 roommates, my God, I would have, after 4 years of having roommates, I would have pulled my hair out if I had to have that many roommates. But to them, it's, that's the way it is.
Different
if I don't have a job,
generations, for sure.
And so
Yeah, it
they're
is.
incredibly practical. And that's why I think these things, like car share, are being picked up by or adapted by the young generation so quickly.
It's true. Let me go into another possible dark side here. Is that some drivers are different than other drivers. Okay, some drivers will, run into a wall every now and then and bust up your car. Some drivers are essentially uninsurable, because of their driving history. How exactly can you make that happen? I mean, you insure over an uninsured driver. You're going to let him touch your capital. You're going to let him touch your liability as the owner of the car. I mean, I can see some drivers really being a terrific problem, for a system like
That's why
this.
it's membership based. You have to go through a screening.
Oh, very good. Okay.
You have to have
Are
a
you
driver's
listening, Daimler?
license.
Are you listening?
You have to have a reasonable driving record because, Daimler's going to do the same thing. They're not going to risk it.
Then you call a cab.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't have any more dark side, so it looks pretty good. But let me.
I do want
Oh,
to.
Sharon, yes.
I do because we have a visionary taxi cab company. Why are the other taxi cabs not seeing this as a
question.
multimodal? And what do you think might be some of the issues that they face, or how might you encourage them to see a different way of the future? What's going on there?
I don't know. The taxi industry. First of all, I don't know if they are against it.
Yeah, really,
I
I haven't
don't.
heard.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think
Don't make
anyone's
any
ever
assumptions,
approached.
yeah.
So, the largest is the cab and Charlie's, right? And now I will say that based on their business model, the more cabs there are on the road, the better for them. So it's more about quantity and not quality, because they're all the drivers are independent contractors, and they basically pay the cab a fixed amount, right? So the more cabs, if I get 100 more cabs, I make that much more money. So they could feel that as a threat, but I don't know. I haven't spoken to them. I mean, the multimodal transportation and this whole concept and bike share, Asia got me into it with EPA, from the EPA, and I just, like I said before, Crystal, when we were on the panel, I just became immediately enamored with it because I love things that are so effective and so simple. The simplest things that become real,
that change your life.
yeah, and so that's the way I see multimodal transportation. It's so simple. I didn't think about it before, right? I mean, all these elements have been here for how
But
long?
now I think I understand more about why you went into the EcoCab thing in the first place. It's the same notion. It's the same drive.
Yeah.
It's the same question and answer.
Well, remember the last time we spoke, the whole concept of EcoCab is just that as well. Hybrid cars have been around forever. Tablets have been around forever, right? I mean, well, not ever, but in the last 5 or 6, 7 years,
Seems
it's been
like
very
it,
popular,
doesn't it?
right? Yeah.
Come together.
GPS,
Ask your daughter.
hotspot, all those things. And it was just a matter of bringing it all together and packaging it in one car.
Speaking of packaging, I have my final question for you guys. We got 2 minutes left.
Okay.
How do we package this? How do we move forward? How do you see this all, developing, going down the track? How long is it going to take? Who's going to do it?
I think the market is here. I think we need to solve that little tax issue so that we can have easier entry into the market. Certainly when someone like Daimler comes in, because they have such a big presence, I think that really raises everybody's awareness about it. I'm hoping that will let enterprise expand as well. One of the things we were, after the forum, we were over pitching, a couple of us, the enterprise folks saying, could you put cars in the neighborhoods, and oh, by the way, could you include a pickup truck?
A great idea.
Because
What a
occasionally
great
we have to
idea.
move, and who wants to
Yeah.
buy a pickup truck and have to support that? So, I do think that there's a market here and there's a lot of opportunity, and we just need to tweak this language a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's part of just working in conjunction with all the interested parties, and there's some heavyweights that really want to see this happen. And it's a matter of working with the state and the city on 2 levels. One, stay out of the way. Get rid of silly laws like the 3 hour, just modify it, and so that it's more, we're not saying lose revenue. In fact, they're going to make more revenue by the
Right.
You're
permits.
going to
and so on.
testify on that bill?
So that's one way. And
Very
then,
persuasive.
yeah, and so and then the second way is, of course, through accommodation. Permits, allowing cars to be parked on timed areas and not get a ticket and not get it all, and so on and so forth. So I think, but it just makes so much sense. I think if we all working together, it would be an easy sell to the legislatures, both in the city and the state.
And the public.
And the public, I think, is, yeah.
And I'll leave you with one thought hanging. It just occurs to me during this discussion that you've mentioned enterprise. It's a car rental. But there's a dozen other car rentals here with fleets of cars. How hard would it be for them to adapt their models also into the same marketplace? This place could change its whole dynamic in a very short period of time if those guys would also come into the marketplace, and they may.
They might.
Yeah.
Wow, exciting. Never thought. Okay, that's David Jung, founder and operator of EcoCabs, and Crysttal Steiner, who is the TDM, and that stands for, everyone knows what that stands for. It's the Transportation Demand Manager Coordinator person for the University of Hawaii at Manoa. And this is Think Tech Talks. Sharon Moriwaki and I have been doing Hawaii, the state of clean energy. Is it time for car sharing? And yes, we have our answer. It's time. Right, Sharon?
That's right.
Thanks for watching. Thanks, you guys, for showing up. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.